Hey guys, well, today we don't have any plans in stone. We have a few hours right now to spare, so we're just gonna walk around our hotel and just kind of see what we can find. But like behind me is a really cool sign I wanted to show you. It says Atyrau, the oil and gas capital of Kazakhstan, and really is. Like the surrounding areas here in Kazakhstan is where surrounding areas here in Atyrau is where most of Kazakhstan's oil is produced. So although the city itself is not too large, it is very, very, very important to the well-being of the whole country. As you can see, some parts right here in downtown are still kind of look undeveloped, but that is quickly changing actually. You have new buildings popping up everywhere, so this city has a really bright future, I think. But even now, it is fascinating to see, and I'm excited we have some time to go just wander around and see what we can discover, what kind of monuments maybe, or maybe old Soviet buildings we could see. So let's take a stroll. Let's see what we can do. See, sometimes there's no easy way around. You just gotta go through the bushes, or jump over the fences. But other than that, pretty standard stuff. Well, there you guys are. So there's our hotel, and right in front of it we found the building that is the provincial the provincial government building of the Atyrau region. Definitely I think built during the old Soviet era. As you can see, nothing too flashy. Very maybe this center part was added on later, but the main building definitely looks in the best Soviet style. All right guys, so we're just walking around the state building, and I want to show you something really cool, a monument right in front of the state building that will sort of blow your mind. Check this out. So look at this. We are looking at the monument to the Sultan Baibars. Sultan Baibars. This is a very interesting person from the 13th century of our era. So around 700 years ago, this gentleman lived, and he has a very unique story. Very unique story. Let's travel back in time again to the 13th century AD, some 700 years ago. You have a boy that is born in the Turkic steppes, somewhere around here, somewhere around Atyrau region. It is said that this boy was born. He would have been born in the Turkic culture. And so what you see behind me might look sort of mysterious at first. The stone right here full of these cave-esque paintings. But this is actually a representation of the Turkic culture. Let me show you this. Oh yeah, there you go, look at this. This is definitely like an ancient painting recreation of a camel. You can see there's a little humps. There's another camel right there, I think. A warrior on a horse. Makes you wonder what stories these images told when they were found. There's a star there. And more inscriptions. Yes, please, for sure. If you know what this says, like, let me know. I'd love to find out. So this little boy was born in the steppes here, somewhere around in Atyrau, in a very well-known family at the time. And then something happened. Something happened. The evil wishers of his father, or maybe a raid from the east, from Mongols, came, and they took this boy and they sold him into slavery. So this nobleman of the steppes here in the Kapchak Turkic region got sold into slavery. And you might think, oh well, this is a terrible life. What could happen to a child that went into slavery? It's probably going to be a life of hardship and hard labor, and probably an early death somewhere. But it was not so simple. So this adolescent then gets sold into slavery by Mongols in Damascus, all the way by the Mediterranean Sea. And at the time, Egypt was already Islamic. So what happened was, after thousands of years of being sort of traditional Egypt, it got conquered by the Mamluks. And Mamluks were a new kingdom, an Islamic kingdom. And so this Mamluk Empire is now in charge of the Egypt and Syria. And it's been in charge for, there's already 3 sultans of Mamluks running Egypt and basically making Egypt into a Islamic nation as it is today. So this young adolescent person that was ripped from the steppes here in Atyrau, here in Kazakhstan, is then sold in Damascus in Syria, which is also under the Mamluk influence. And what Mamluks did at the time, the sultans of Mamluk Empire did at the time, is that they would hire these steppe slaves, basically, into the army. And they would use them instead of the native population, because the native population couldn't really be trusted, right? Like, they were afraid that they might start a riot and try to overthrow the Mamluks. And so they buy the slave boy and put them in the army. The Sultan of Egypt buys him, either him or as a part of other slaves. Anyway, they buy them in Damascus for something like 800 dirhams, so probably not that much at the time. But and so this little boy, well, I shouldn't say boy, this adolescent guy now becomes a member of the Mamluk army. And then something amazing happens. In the Mamluk army, there was actually a lot of freedom to move up. So you could move up in the ranks if you were capable, if you were brave, if you were smart. And so this young gentleman then starts climbing the ladder, the military ladder, and soon becoming a commander, sort of general, and then eventually, amazingly, becoming a sultan himself. So he rose from the basically being a slave to being a sultan of the Mamluk Empire, just by simply being in the system, in the army system, and rising to the ranks. And so that stone that we saw right there was his beginnings, his traditional beginnings in the Kapchak steppes of Kazakhstan, the Turkic culture that he was ripped apart from. And then he made his way, he fought his way through slavery, through wars, through battles, through power grabs and you know, politics, and then becomes the sultan of this gigantic empire that rules over Egypt and Syria. And so this explains why here behind me we also find a pyramid. And it's I'm not sure what all these things say. I can't read Turkic rune inscriptions or Egyptian hieroglyphs. But if you can, I'll take a up-close video. Please leave your comment below, because it'd be fascinating to find out. Look at that. This looks like a sphinx. Sort of with, usually when we see the sphinx, we don't see this head part. I'm not sure if that was originally there or not, but again, some Egyptian characters there. More symbols here. There's a hole inside the pyramid. Wonder if we can look inside. Nope. It just looks like it's drilled in, but there's not much there. Interesting. And then this side, we have more characters. Pair of eyes and more Egyptian stuff. But that's what these two stones represent, is sort of the duality of of life of this great man. And so, knowing that history, then we walk up here and we can gaze upon this great man that basically built himself up from the start. Look at this. So here you guys are. Here's this great self-made man, Sultan Baibars, a proud son of the steppes here in Kazakhstan. Somewhere in Kazakhstan. They say that he was born probably somewhere around this region. This is why he's so iconic, and this is why the monument to him was erected here in Atyrau, because he's from somewhere here. So this is the guy that persevered through it all. You know, lived happily in the steppes as a nobility, then had a great downfall, a tragic downfall, when he was ripped from it and sold into slavery for pennies, then had to fight his way. And fight he did, to the point where he became the top dog. He became the top guy, the Sultan of the empire itself that once bought him as a slave. And by all accounts, he was a great leader. There's a lot of reports about him saying how he built lots of mosques in the empire, right? So he done a lot of work for the Muslim population, for the Mamluk Empire, to strengthen it. He strengthened the army, he strengthened the borders, he fought battles, not just internal, but he also defeated Mongols, and he also defeated some sort of crusade wars. I'm not too familiar with that, so I can't go into depth, but he fought a lot of battles, won a lot of battles, strengthened his empire, but most importantly, what a story, huh? What a story, from a little boy here in the steppes, to a slave, to a great general, to a sultan. Fantastic.